Hello, everyone. Welcome in. It is very early on Saturday morning, November 16th, but I wanted to get some news out to you that I've been thinking about. I can't sleep, and I thought, time to just get on here and share it with you. This is for entertainment purposes only. Everything that I say is my opinion, theory, speculation, alleged. No one is being accused, not to be taken as fact, in my opinion, and allegedly. Well, hello. We have Dog the Bounty Hunter went on Court TV tonight, and boy, he let loose. He's talking about kicking indoors, cuffing the weakest link. They know who they're looking at. And remember, we had just gotten a post from AtNight a couple nights ago saying persons of interest related to Sebastian. There is one related to Sebastian, not by blood, but through marriage. Now, before I give you the audio for Court TV, which we're going to do, I want you to stay to the end because that's when he starts talking about kicking indoors and stuff. And he also shares a theory as to where he thinks, one theory as to where Sebastian may be. Also, Nick the Hat, after this interview, put on his X a little hint. It said, hint, dog walk in. Time to Viet vets. I'm assuming he means Vietnam vets. Time to Viet vets, 8 to 11 minutes. And Long Hollow, 10 to 13 minutes. That is the hint from Nick the Hat. Dog walk in. Time to Viet vets, 8 to 11 minutes. And Long Hollow, 10 to 13 minutes. Well, a Vietnam vet would be anywhere from about 60 years old and up. We know the person is related by blood, by marriage, not blood. And so if it's a Vietnam vet they're talking about, they would be in their 60s and formerly in the military. So allegedly that would be TB, in my opinion. So I would like for you to listen to the audio, listen to the end. It's shocking. They are getting close. He calls out TBI. A lot going on here. Don't miss. Here we go, friends.
So first of all, I don't mean to spin this, but you said a lot of law enforcement and volunteers and all that were out there searching. Let me tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. Chris Proudfoot was threatening all kind of people that they should go home. Why are they there? He allegedly sprayed some neighbor with water, because they were asking. So a lot of people, let's say, tried to help and volunteer. But Proudfoot and his cronies, or maybe by himself, was threatening them, stopping them. And I don't know why the people that were threatened and threatened by him allegedly didn't call the police or what is it called, the TBI. I don't know why the TBI hasn't done nothing unless they're neck deep in it too. I talked to one of the guys, and it was ridiculous. We want the FBI, the marshals. We need the FBI. We need the marshals in on this. And let me tell you about them. They will find what happened to the little boy. They will find Sebastian, what happened to him.
What do you think happened to him, Dwayne? I mean, it seems it's very hard to get your head around that he has not turned up in after this long of a period of time. Do you believe he was abducted? Is he? What's your gut telling you now that you know enough and have invested enough here? What's your gut say?
Well, first of all, please call me dog. That's okay to call me dog. And there's a lot of possibilities. Okay, the worst possibility, of course, you could guess that. But we've checked into sex slaves. There's a lot of kids that are autistic that it's unbelievable. From 5 to 18 years old, little boys and little girls that are in the sex trade.
Sad.
They're catching them right now all over Tennessee. They just caught a kid, I think 8 or 9 years old, yesterday or the day before. So, we want to show those kids pictures of Sebastian. We want to show them those little kids got, sometimes they can ID someone a lot better than anyone else. So we want to show those kids pictures. But again, the ones that I guess found the kid is the TBI. I hate to sound redundant, but we need the federal marshals and we need the feds in on this.
You mentioned the Proudfoots, Chris and Katie Proudfoot. Katie Proudfoot, for those that who haven't been following this, is the mother of Sebastian. She was the last person to see him. Chris, the stepfather, and we invited them on tonight. We did get a hold of them. They declined.
Of course.
Joe, they are.
Of course they will.
Joe, there's been some pretty nasty rhetoric going on online. Not only, not just people attacking the Prophets, but Seth Rogers has been the victim here of a lot of hate. Why? Where is that coming from?
I think a lot of people have a lot of time on their hands. Chris, I think what happens is they get caught up in their own rhetoric, as you said, and their own story, and they want to try and create headlines. They want to try and create something that's not there. They create smoke, and then they point to the smoke that they created. And you're sitting there going, stop, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. And yet they don't care because the smoke generates more advertising, more smoke, and more people. And they attack not only Seth, but anybody who's aligned themselves with Seth Rogers. Seth is and Dog and all these individuals are trying to help find this young man, and they constantly are attacking anybody who's ever latched on to Seth Rogers and the search for Sebastian. And that should send up notes. I've been practicing in the criminal defense and criminal prosecution world for almost 20 years and prosecuted sexual offenders and other types of cases, kidnapping cases, and it should send up a red flag to law enforcement of people who are degrading and putting down and trying to drag through the mud the people who are helping. And so these bloggers and these content creators, there are some that are very helpful and getting the name out and the information out, and then there are others who are just, like you said, dragging people through the mud for their own education and their own desires to get headlines and people to come and listen to them. And to me, as Andy Warhol said, everybody gets their 15 minutes of fame, but their 15 minutes are up, and we're tired of it. We're not going to sit tight and let these people utilize these powerful platforms online to drag and defame individuals who are trying to find one who's trying to desperately find his son, and others who are trying to find this young man on behalf of his father and his family. And so we have taken action, and we are moving forward in everything we can to stop.
That's Joseph's sound, not mine.
That's his sound, not
investigation
mine.
here, that is to find Sebastian.
Dog, when you have a mother who does not seem to want to participate in the search for her child, at least publicly, what
Well
does that
said.
tell you, mother and stepfather, the Proudfoots I'm speaking of?
Well, brother, I'll leave that up to your viewers to decide. As far as I've done this way over 40 years, and I lost a baby girl. Barbara Katie at 22 years old. 19 years ago, I barely still can talk about it. So that is like unbelievable. And I also heard that there's witnesses that once Sebastian was in the front yard and Chris Proudfoot was screaming at him, and he called him a retard, and Sebastian hit the ground and started bawling. I mean, all these, what is the old saying, all roads point to Rome? I mean, this is like almost obvious.
Well, if they were involved, though, Doug, then one would think they didn't have a ton of time. They didn't have a ton of sophistication, one would think.
They had military background.
How could they,
in 12
let's say
hours.
the worst did happen, how would they have gotten away with it? Is this a shoddy investigation from day one?
Well, somewhat. Somewhat. If the police officer, if the TBI, I guess their lead guy is ahead of it. So yeah, put blame where it falls. That guy.
Ooh.
It's just
Bobby
incredible. I can't believe that. But what so far what our lead could say, there is a manhole right in front of the Proudfoot's property. And they said, yeah, the drone or the cops, somebody said, they flew drones in there. And there's like 3 foot of mud, okay? Then a dog, a really good dog, 2 of them, one of them stopped at the edge of the pond that was drained, and the other one jumped in the pond. If Sebastian was put down that manhole into the mud, the scent would have carried to that pond.
Wow.
So I want to know why they haven't blocked that off, got in some kind of suit, and went on their hands and knees and looked in that manhole and all the way to the pond. Dogs, their scent of smell is so much more than a human being. And for a German Shepherd to jump in the water, well, they drain the pond. Yeah, because he could be in that manhole, in that little, cave, whatever they call it, inside there where it drains to that pond. So there's a lot of things that the TBI could be doing and haven't done nothing. Now, I heard they flew a drone in there. Well, you know how muddy that is and how thick of mud is in there? Flying a drone on top inside is not going to do nothing.
Yeah. All right, we're going to get a break. Coming up next, we're going to ask, what is the current status of the investigation? Our guests are going to stay with us. Be back with more right after this.
There is no evidence to support foul play is involved in the disappearance of Sebastian.
But at this point, you don't rule it out.
We're not ruling anything out.
At this point, we don't have any evidence. There is not any kind of an indication that there is a criminal element involved.
Shame on them, in my opinion.
We are keeping options open. We don't know what has happened. We don't know where Sebastian is right now, so we are pursuing any and all avenues.
That was Sumner County Sheriff's Deputies Eric Craddock and Susan Hyland of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. She was the second person, obviously, at a press conference in the months after Sebastian was reported missing. About the same time, Deputy Craddock spoke with reporter Nick Barris from WTVF in Nashville about whether or not they had cleared anybody from the immediate family as being a suspect in this case. Take a listen.
We have not cleared anyone, but we have absolutely no evidence to support foul play.
Embarrassing, in my opinion.
That was in April of 2024, a little more than a month into the search for Sebastian, and the official word from police was that nobody's been cleared, but still there's no evidence of foul play, yet one would think that foul play absolutely is involved here. That brings us to our next question. What is the current status of this investigation so many months after Sebastian Rogers first went missing?
Here we go.
We still have with us Doug the Bounty Hunter and his lawyer to keep him in check, Joe Lesniak. Let's, Doug, you're in Tennessee. What's going on? Is there anything you can share with us in terms of new developments in your investigation?
Officers, I respect law enforcement so much, and they were saying that way back then that they had no leads. Okay, nobody should be charged or blah blah blah. But now, what about now? What about today? What about last week?
That's right.
I think you guys need to do interviews now. Update everybody. What about right now after all these things have come forward? And a lot of people online, whatever, are saying, Dog, what gives you the right? What gives you the right? You're a bounty hunter. What gives you the right? Well, what gives me the right is Tennessee has one of the greatest of all time laws. It's called the Citizens' Right to Arrest Law.
Listen up.
You talk about booting a door in and going in and grabbing them. I can do that. I'm a citizen.
Go, dog,
Whether
go.
I'm Dog the Bounty Hunter, Dwayne Lee Chapman, or I have the right as a citizen of the United States of America to put in custody and take out the person that hurt or whatever happened to little Sebastian.
So, are you onto something?
Yes, sir.
Can you share?
Well, no, because they'll run. I know who the weakest link is.
The weakest link.
You know, you get in Tennessee, brother, it's the death penalty. That is the death penalty. Would they rather go to lethal injection, or would they rather be paroled in 20 years or something? They still would have time to, live a life. So that's one of the Tennessee carries the death penalty.
Let me get this straight. You're on to a lead. You're there in Tennessee. You're actively pursuing it. And
Yes, sir.
now, I get that you have the right to move forward with what you believe is possibly detaining an individual or two or whatever. I don't know any details because you're being cagey. But do you have to alert law enforcement before you make any sort of a move to let everybody know, hey, I'm here and here's what I'm doing?
No, sir. I don't have to alert no one. Now, I cannot transport. I can arrest cops. And then the cops come or whoever to read that person their rights, and transport them to jail. I can do everything but read them their rights or transport. But under the law, the United States of America, I can arrest.
Thank
Give
goodness.
us a little hint. Like, did you is this someone who has always been part of the landscape, or is this something new? Or don't jump in, Joe, and have him stop.
Hey, I have to jump in and have him stop. Wait, dog, you can't. Yes, Ted. Both of them are possibly right.
Very interesting. So they are on to something. When they said persons of interest, by the way, I verified with another creator who thought, like hindsight, they separate from the infiltration and they're referring to persons of interest in the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers being someone related to Sebastian by marriage, not blood. After Dog said this on this interview about ready to bust in doors, cuff him, arrest him, Nick put out this hint. Now we're going to go over it again. I want you to put in the comments what you think it is. Use initials and in my opinion, okay? Hint from Nick. Dog walk-in. Time to Viet vets 8 to 11 minutes. And Long Hollow 10 to 13 minutes. Okay, Vietnam vets are about 60 and up. So a Vietnam vet, so someone in the military, 60 and up, related to Sebastian by marriage, is 8 to 11 minutes away, in my opinion. And then Long Hollow, 10 to 13 minutes. What do you think it means? Is Dog in Tennessee ready to kick indoors? I don't think he wanted everyone to know he was there, actually. I just seemed like it. But so he's there. Is he going to kick in some doors, cuff someone, and bring in the weakest link, try and get him to plea down so they don't get the death penalty? First one to talk walks. We're getting close, friends. I feel it. We're getting close. We are going to bring him home. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. We are going to bring him home. Go, dog, go. Push in those doors. Grab him. Cuff him. He's afraid they're going to run. And I pray they're being watched, whoever we are discussing. We all have it in our heads who we think it is. He obviously has a very negative view of Stepfoot. In my opinion, he's alluding that that's someone he's doesn't who thinks would be involved by the things he said about the way he treats Sebastian, allegedly, in my opinion. So let's see what happens. More to come. Hit that notification bell. Please subscribe to the channel for updates. Everything Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers and true crime. We are going to bring him home. Go, dog, go. Cuff him. Talk soon, friends.